Good morning, it's Terra at Woo Report, Terra Kautman, and I am going to do a tarot reading for the day and the energy for the day. Energy for the day right now is just last night, but it was a 60-hour blackout, so that was kind of interesting, and I'm going to try to synthesize yesterday's reading because now it makes a lot more sense. Like there was a timeline shift, and some of the things that I was intuitively picking up. Thank you, blind. I went blind. Maybe I was channeling Baba Vanga. I love her. Bless her. Rest in peace. Anyway, so some of those things that I said yesterday relate to today. And then I did this. I did my tarot reading before I seen today's. So there's a lot of things too that show if this was related to a timeline shift, how that relates. And then the main thing is yesterday's, and I shuffle so well, so very, very well. I have a system down. I kind of have the superstition or like, oh, maybe it works. Like Nikola Tesla did the threes and the nines. So anyway, a bunch of that going on with my shuffling. And also yesterday I got into the years. Then today I did some numerology on the different things. And it's really, really fascinating what those different numbers mean. And today, 8/25, 2025 is a 22. So it's a master number. And that's another thing, like we're rebuilding, but it's almost like there's more control in the collective. And why I think that is, and more knowledge, is that this here, the Ten of Swords yesterday was the hidden, like we didn't see it. And then after that timeline shift, or now today, we see it in our collective, is in our root. So we're processing that and know that's in our deep in us, that we know this, what's going on and what has to change and going forward. And it looks like going forward is justice. So these cards, this reading was really good in reflecting, and also like the clarifying card was really surprisingly the same. And like I said, I shuffle, and I intentionally thought when I did this, I thought of that I'd want to know if it were, if there was a timeline change. So all that's really interesting, and I'll get into that and show you the reading also on the graph. And possibly, I don't know if I may update. There's also some AI. I like to have fun with AI, so I would like to do that. And in the future too, maybe show notes. Maybe I'll take my notes that I read from and put them into my blog, so that there's another way to document the day and the time. Well, YouTube is pretty good. I posted to YouTube and Rumble. Both of them are, the channels are called the Woo Report or Woo Report. So they can be found there. So let's get into the reading. Let me get my notes. I don't know if that's a cheater, but hey, I'm old. And I kept 24 open because I would like to synthesize more, like from day to day, maybe week to week, and month to month, year to year. But you'd have to, like, I would like to create a way. I know Cliff High does a lot of this data stuff. If you could data like your dreams. One thing I noticed though lately with the energies is not a lot of dreams, and very like feeling like you're working on something. Like really disjointed and not deep sleep. So I don't know if anyone else isn't feeling that, but that is where we are. So see these cosmic shifts coming, and also I like to paint the energy. One of my paintings is here that I use for my frame here. I'll just show it to you really quick, and I would like to paint for this energy because it is so so interesting. I don't know if I locked it. I might have locked my side thing here. Yeah, I did. So let's unlock it, and I can move it and show you. And I just called this one the Midnight Goddess. And what's interesting about this painting is it's mostly painting the energy of my neighborhood, and just that things and people around me. So when I painted this, I had a dream. This person came to my window, and I was sitting in a park waiting with my window rolled down. And a lot of people do that with drug deals, but sometimes you do that with just people, right? You're just saying, okay, I'll meet you at this park. And you're sitting waiting for them. So when I was waiting for somebody, this person came to my car and went, boo. It scared the crap out of me in my dream. And we started building these things, and it was like underground and planks. So it was very, very strange. And then come to find out, the person had committed suicide. And I kept this song in my mind. The song came into my mind, a Michael Jackson song. It's been a few years ago, Girl, I Can't Keep You Out of My Mind, or, that song. And so then I did this painting, which I call an energy painting. And it's really interesting. I see this person with their hand like this, and then there's this thing around their wrist, like maybe they committed suicide, Band-Aids, and then this hand. As I was painting, this spirit told me that they were, they threw all this away. All this, they wouldn't get back. I don't know if it was accidental. I don't know the details of the death. But sometimes your intuitive self will say, yeah, they died, and, show you things like that, like with regret and stuff. And then there's this woman here, and it looks like she could be pregnant, or she could have her hand on her hip, looking like at a side view. So that was interesting. And he has 2 children, and it seemed to me like this was the child's, the boy, and this was the girl's, what he thought about her. And with the child, there was like a giraffe, and there's this shark right here, toys, a little boy here. So it's kind of, I don't know if you can see my cursor. Sometimes I have to put them in the browser. So that's just a whole nother thing with that I'm going to have to learn about, OBS. So that it's been a bear. And so some of the numerology, about 22 is a master number. That has its downside too, of being like over perfectionist. But I really think this new timeline is really, really interesting, because I just started doing these reports, even though I've wanted to forever. So maybe it was preparing me to do them. And now, as I'm doing them, I can see intuitively that even though they're not perfect, they're not good, you just need to go forward. Like our little thing here with the crow, the clarifying card. Was it the 4 of Cups that shows that you have everything you need, but you're like sitting there going, it's not perfect, so I'm not going to do it, or, and things like that. And we have to realize, like I said in my last reading yesterday, because I think it was the same card, that, in America we have all those things. And I know America has its flaws and its problems, but basically you're not going to have this kind of freedom and this much materium any other place. So we have the materials to do things and to build. We got to start building, and wherever that is, intuitively, whatever we have, we need to do. And another thing I found too, that my throat has been acting up a lot lately, and I think that we have forces, whatever they be, that may be a blockage for you. So I'm gonna look into getting some chakra clearing meditations, especially throat speaking and things like that. So my throat was hurting even when I was thinking about doing this. So I thought, no, maybe I shouldn't, but I'm going to go forward. So let's get into the reading. So I recorded it before, because I really don't have the equipment and everything I would like to have a setup to do it, so I could do it live, But so we'll see going forward what I can do and what I can, afford to do. And I do have a link down in the thing where we all can make some Bitcoin. If you don't have a Bitcoin account, and that's another thing I would like to talk about, and like even line up the energy charts to the financial markets, especially the Bitcoin, because that I've just been taking money off my investment, not taking out my investment, but making enough funds, not a lot, but enough to like buy some things and help with because groceries are through the roof and I need to eat as well as I can. So all organic. I have an RO machine that I add minerals to, like baking soda and some salt, so it doesn't, drain me of all minerals. But I do the flaxseed also protocol. That's a whole nother health thing, but that's really important too. And going forward and building, we need to eat as good as we can, and it is an investment. It's an investment in your children, and it's an investment in your health and your future. So anyway, going forward, let's do the reading. So let me get that on my screen, and we'll start to play it. I'm just going to pause it and go from there. So the root energy we know is that's the hidden card, the bottom of the deck, Page of Wands. And then we have the Ten of Swords, which, I don't know, I think this is one of the worst cards as far as like our pain and our suffering goes. So I think in the traditional tarot, that rider waite, they're in a coffin, I think. So not good. Asleep almost, almost dead. So what we have here is the reading for that is the root energy, the Ten of Swords, and it manifests as betrayal, collapse. Let's see what else. Betrayal, collapse, and the end of a cycle. That shows me too. It's like it's really, really, important, or a sign of, the intuitive tie-ins between yesterday and today, where that was, in the what we couldn't see happening, and now today it is. So I do believe there was a timeline shift, especially too that I talked about other, like what this new time frame is going to look like, because I had some pings, and pings may be just so random, but it was pings of times and dates and a whole year yesterday. So sometimes I might see something random at a thrift store or something, and it just brings up, oh, this means something. So I just call those pings. And downloads would be information, but pings are like right in your face. Like this means something, right? This date came into my consciousness because my phone, my camera acted up and set to that date. So my recording was set to that date. And I was like, when I looked at it, it's like, this is in 1979. Okay, so those are the kind of pings I'm talking about. So the root energy is the Ten of Swords today, 8/25/25, and collapse and the end of a cycle. It's really important when we get into the 22 of the date, the number, the master architect. Really, really, really fascinating to me. I love numerology also. So, but more of like as a tie-in to other data points. So that's one data point is the Schumann Resonance. One is my just human intuition. One of them is the tarot cards. Some of them could be like prayer. Some people use guides. I haven't met any guide yet. I have had, just the usual, excuse me, not usual, like everybody doesn't have them, like just, spiritual feelings of, the Holy Spirit, and from a biblical standpoint. And that can really, really get you there, get you to understand. I mean, not some are just surface level, but if you get deep into Christianity, there's a lot of practices that are really good. And to focus on the good too. And so, and the law of attraction, if you focus on good, love, lovely things, then those things are going to come into your life. So I really do appreciate that kind of training I got. So, but it was when I was an adult, so I didn't have a born again experience. I just walked into it, but that's some more stories. Anyway, so for the collective, this root energy reflects historical wounds, economic crashes, societal divisions, or family betrayals that have shaped our foundation. The chart's calm before the jump mirrors this exhausted state. So this jump, when you see the energy charts, it's crazy, like off the chart. the energy that during the blackout that happened when we were blind. I don't know if you want to see it as I do it. Maybe that would be better. But some days I want to put this out before. If I'm going to do it in a timely fashion, I'll have to do a tarot reading before I even see the chart because it usually doesn't update till 10 a.m. But today it just went and updated from the blackout. So we'll show that. Let me see. Where are you? Schumann Resonance graph. Okay. So this is what, let me get the screen out because I have to put it in a browser so my cursor will show. Anyway, so here's what they're calling a timeline shift. So I felt that yesterday without being able to see it, doing it blind with Baba Vanga. I'm going to remember her name. So here's this, and this is this new energy. So yeah, it was quite calm here, but this was dark too. This was crazy energy. And it's all like got a lot of red in it. So I'm just, going through this and this jagged, it's like a stitching. And also I'd like to look at this too. It's like they almost look like entities, white, especially around in here. And here a little bit, but standing, like here we are. And I don't know if anybody, excuse me, my throat, like I said, I need some chakra clearings. Anyway, if you ever watch sci-fi, I'm a sci-fi fan and a big fan of Philip K. Dick. So I think a lot of sci-fi writers like Philip K. Dick, maybe there are prophets. They're telling us things and seeing things that we're not seeing. It's like the unseen, the ether, they're seeing stuff. Even the scientists like Tesla and stuff like that. So here, if you watched Man in the High Castle, I actually read the book afterwards after I watched the Amazon series. But there's a portal that they create where these things walk in, and then at the end episode, they walk in and out. So if you're a fan, you already watched it. If not, just watch it because it's really good. A lot of things that's kind of like a spoiler, but not really, because there's just a lot of intricacies. If I watched it again, I would see more. So with that, maybe this energy is incoming help, incoming spirits, but the white is really, really good. I feel like really energized, and like right in here where there was not very much. This really sucks for me. It's really a downer. And this is like down, up, and then we have this timeline change. So here we're building, and I think that is a lot of what the tarot reading is going into. So let me turn this off. Back to our reading. So that was the root energy. And then we had you can see that calm base before the jump. And then the current vibration is justice. I really love this card. It's really pretty. And that's been coming up a lot this week also. And because I was actually doing my recordings for a few days before I actually posted them online. So I got the courage to, post them online. So all the guidance I've been getting says just keep doing it. You'll get better and, faster and all that with recording. So I hope that's true. But I hope I can just create a community that we can grow and use our intuitive abilities to create the new earth. And the new earth, I think, is going to have governance. So there's a whole lot of that going on too, rearranging. And we can't keep the status quo. And those who want it are only doing it for power. So things have to change. And that might be upsetting, and people may want it to like stay the same and build on the bad foundation, but we can't do that. So we're in this, but I don't want to be divided from people. So I don't want to get too political about things, because I don't want that division to hamper relationships, because it shouldn't anyway. And I think while young people they're very idealistic, they have to realize they're limited, no matter what data they have. Experience is something that, not saying all old people are wise, but you've seen your mistakes, and you've seen the world, and you've seen a lot of things happen. So you have a lot more to draw upon in your intuition and all those other things. So, and the youth we have seen, with Hitler Youth, they can be used by political leaders, and that's despicable. Anyway, so, but yeah, there are young people that are, can be good leaders, but, you're young and you haven't got a track record, but that will come as you do, because if you are a leader, that will be evident in your life, how you run your life, how people trust you. Those things will be evident, self-evident. So those kind of things, you just can't talk something and say, I'm on this bandwagon, therefore vote for me. No, it's like the Bible says, you'll be known by your fruit. So a leader will be, have those qualities. I don't have a lot of leadership qualities, but I do have a lot of spiritual qualities. And, my history shows that I've, had these experiences, these mystical experiences. I've have biblical degrees, because once I got into something and once that happened, I had to find out everything about it, and just constant study about everything I could about the spiritual realm and what it's about, what it means. So we have to be very careful. And it's like even with the youth with Occupy Wall Street, I believed everything they said was spot on. Where there's a big difference is they thought the people who caused the problem, the government was going to solve the problem, and that ain't happening ever. And it could, but it's going to be whoever you put into office is going to upset things, and the powers that be aren't going to be happy. They may try to assassinate you. They may try to put you in prison. They may try to demonize you. But the fact is that I don't think right now how we're going, and maybe that was a timeline shift too with that assassination. So that's another study I would like to do, is a study of the numerology of JFK and Trump and every other president, Reagan. Just, that's a whole nother topic, but that's what I would like to get into if that could happen. So we'll see about that. That would be very interesting. So the current vibration is justice, which brings balance, truth, and accountability to the present. And so today it could feel like there's going to be a reckoning. The collective's going to feel a reckoning. Perhaps the timeline last night at around 9:30, 10 p.m. Reflects karmic scales, addressing past imbalances like financial manipulation or war disruptions affecting the chart. So that's that. So let's go on to the next card. The next card is the Queen of Cups. And she has a moon for a head. There's a lot of symbology in this person's readings, her cards. So with the Queen of Cups represents emotional depth and intuition. But as a challenge, we have to go there. We have to want that challenge and accept it. Challenge accepted. Okay, so then that is emotional depth and intuition, but as a challenge. It suggests overwhelm or escapism. So I've been feeling that, wanting to escape and not do the things that has been put into my intuition to do. So those things, just kind of get beat out of us, but we have to hold on to them, because that is our core soul, our core self wanting to go forward. So, okay, it suggests overwhelm or escapism for the collective. This is a struggle to manage intense emotions post-jump, risking denial of the truth that justice brings. It's amplified by the chart's potential new patterns. So if we see that new, it's trying to build, it's trying to get momentum. So with that, okay, I have to start up again. I was just re-recording, but that's not going to work. So I'm going to try to have to piece more than two together. I was piecing just my tarot reading and the energy, but now I just have more people in my house. My daughter and my grandson, a couple other adult kids still live with me. So I'm going to have to move this. I'm in the living room right now where I do a lot of my work, just on my computer. I'm going to have to move it into my room. So I'm going to have like a studio area if I'm going to keep doing this. But for today, and I'm going to work with what I have. But this does need to be moved into my room. So we'll see how that goes. Anyway, so we're on the recording. We're on the challenge with the Queen of Cups. So I really did. We could be risking the denial of the truth justice brings. And this is amplified by the chart's potential new pattern that looks like it's trying to form consensus. The timeline's trying to form consensus how we're going to go. But with my reading yesterday, with 1979, and I did do further research, but I just didn't talk about it. That's why I think show notes would be really good if I posted them on a blog every day, is that they could, you could go in deeper if you wanted to know more about that day or these things that I'm talking about. And also to see if these things play out. Now, is going forward going to be like 1979? The robot death was really interesting, and that's just something I brought out, but there was more to 1979 than just that. And I believe, too, it was also a conservative era. I'm not saying that this era is going to be like that, but, the Reagan, when I was younger, of course, I wasn't at all a conservative. And I thought, I just hated Reagan. And when I had my first child, it's like that's all that was on TV. It was in October, election season. It was just like Reagan plastered on the thing. And, just political talk in general, that's all that's on. We didn't have VHS tapes. We didn't have streaming. We had nothing. 1981? No, 1982. 1982. So, yeah, good times. Way better now, okay? But it's harder to control us, the collective, because we're all watching different things. We're getting different things in our mind. So we're not, and now it's even harder as we've rejected mainstream media. So, finding this consensus and this collective going forward is, really going to be based upon like heart. So I really think like love and good things. That's what we need to focus on, not their BS. And Cliff High had a really interesting thing where he called about the time stream. So that was really, really interesting. In a blog, I could post more of that too, of things that I have a foundation of and who I watch and things like that. So Cliff High had a really good thing about karma and how they want to create this narrative or create this in the stream. Have us, because we're the creators, get a hold of our minds, and we then create or create chaos, whatever would suit them. If it's chaos, that's all they can get. That's what they'll take, right? And sometimes that works for them with lockdowns, martial law, and this is what like crime does, like in DC and stuff. It then allows forces to say, "Oh, we need to take over," and things like that. And some of those things really do concern me. The comitatus. I don't know, some Latin word for you're not going to have. I think it's Latin. I'm not sure. The military shouldn't be in our streets. So the National Guard isn't necessarily federal troops. So ICE is, but so I guess they have every right to be there too. So there's that. So I'm not getting too political, but our world and especially our country has these overseers, overlords, right? whatever you want to call them, the cabal, the controllers that we're living under. But however, they're not really controlling us, so they're very few. It's a mind trick, Jedi mind trick. Anyway, so, and even creating fake money. So that's not even, they're not smart enough for that. They're just smart enough to connive and to create rules for themselves and twist them to, I don't think the Federal Reserve is at all constitutional. Some people like AI will argue about that, but okay. Anyway, so Queen of Cups is our challenge. Okay, so, and then the outlook, for our future is still good. So this has been good. That's why I think it's a good timeline, a positive, because with the, I'm just showing some, she's got a bracelet. I don't know if that's time. The cards aren't that clear. They're real dreamy kind of thing. So with the Two of Cups, this is, to me, it looks very positive. And the Two of Cups signifies harmony, partnership, and emotional union. So the collective is forming, a union, maybe a union with our overseers or karmic past, but we're coming to grips with that together for the divine masculine and the divine feminine, and within ourselves. So signifies harmony, partnership, and emotional union. The future holds healing through connection, family, soul ties, or global unity, emerging from the jumps, reset, aligning with that intuition yesterday that a timeline jump had happening. We're creating a new timeline. One was provided. So I think clearing some of the slate. These timelines are really interesting. And I think, too, one of the things that my intuition led me to believe it was the timeline jump was that and I don't really go out looking for the news, but all the craziness, all the crazy killing. So I think what happens in these crazy timelines or these timeline jumps is people want to leave. People can't take it and they want to leave. And I think there's, hi bird. I don't know what kind of bird you are. Hello. I don't know if you can hear that, just a loud bird. So, so people want to leave. And I really like that karmic thing about a concept that when people like die, it's like they're just hit by a train or something of that nature. But what if there's another timeline? They could be would be more beneficial to them. So that, or if they stayed in this one, it could have been more of a horrible or a death they didn't want. Say a rape or some torture, things like that. So this would get them out and get them into a more favorable timeline. So I don't know if that's true or not, but that can make it make sense to, our senses. And I think we involve more and more our senses when our intuitive capacities grow more. And I think the sun activity and all this light and the golden age, this is just more light into our environment, into our bodies. And some say this will be the new earth because demons can't hold this light. They're going to have to leave. And angels and these other things that were here at one time can come in because they can hold all this light. So it's very interesting with the whole timeline jump. And where I'm coming from is from a base of a lot of reading and study, not just, wanting to be intuitive guide or something and not have information to help. I don't think it's going to be, I don't think of myself as a teacher necessarily, but just as, here's some information. And if you put it together, it makes sense for a theory of everything for me. And I've gotten a lot of this information from other people. Not that I followed their theory of everything, like Cliff I has a theory of everything. And it's like, I just laugh when he talked about that because I didn't research that enough. I'm just all in this woo-woo land, spiritual land, and I don't go into the books and the physics and the math that somebody like Cliff I does. So it's very, very interesting. when he talked about that, because it just made me laugh, because it's like my estranged spouse, we fight all the time, but anyway, we agree on so much. But when it comes down to it, it's like, where did you hear that from? It's like, you just made this up. It's like, I didn't make it up. It's just that it's my own theory, and you might not have heard it anywhere else. But there's little pieces of it that I can connect you to. But, so it's really, really interesting how, logical, I don't know. I don't know. I think it's the worst personality type, because you're just addicted to thinking and finding out about stuff, and then you learn 99% of it or so, and then you go on to the next thing. So it's not really good for jobs, but I have some career success and working for myself mainly. So, okay, and then the hidden card, the Page of Wands. We're not there yet. Let's forward the video. So the Two of Cups, it's the hidden card. It's the Page of Wands. And let's see, the Page of Wands. The Page of Wands brings new beginnings, enthusiasm, and financial potential. So I'm really looking forward to this. Maybe this new timeline is going to help us with, anybody who's invested in Bitcoin. Any amount. If this goes really high, you're going to benefit from that. And even just putting your money in there. So I put every amount I can in there and just take off when it goes up and try to keep my base investment there. So, so the hidden card is the Page of Wands, and it brings new beginnings, enthusiasm, and financial potential. As a hidden force, this suggests an undercurrent of fresh energy. The timeline jump intuition could hint to that financial outlook, driving collective optimism. So Bitcoin's been holding, but like going way low. And if you're lucky, you can get it at about 111K. But it has been up to 124, so you can see that big drop. But we've been holding the line, I call it. I like the where we go one, we go all. So with something like Bitcoin, we can control a little bit more than we can the FERN, the Federal Reserve note. So and it's a little more transparent, and hopefully we have like contracts and blockchain full transparency for government and money situations for accounting, because we could all do it, and find out. Like the internet has been a great, equalizer in finding out, oh, that's a fake document that NBC put out. That font wasn't even invented. Just somebody watching it as a forensic typeface, in fraud cases person. So I'm like, oh my gosh. So many things have been equalizing for the collective. So we're moving forward, and I do think it's a new timeline. And the master number in numerology for today, 82525, is 22. And it is one of the three master numbers alongside 11 and 33. But 22 is considered the most powerful and significant. It's known as the master builder or the master architect, symbolizing the ability to turn grand visionary dreams into tangible, lasting reality. So in our new timeline, maybe it's going to be the Bitcoin financial and the transparency, and just, upending this hidden agendas and narratives that the power brokers have been able to control, and that stream of consciousness or karma that we've created and that they use, put things into our minds through education, through media. It's programming to make things go a certain way, their way. So that's really good. It's known as the master builder, master architect, symbolizing the ability to turn grand visionary dreams into tangible, lasting reality. And I think that's really good for this new timeline. This number combines the intuitive and spiritual energy of 11 with the practical, organized, and grounded nature of 4, creating a unique blend of idealism and realism that enables the manifestation of large-scale projects. So I think some of these projects, I know I follow some of the things that Elon Musk, I guess they're not tweets anymore, that he X's about. I like the concept of tweets and, Twittering and all that. Now it's grokking, and grokking is a thing too, which it's got a sci-fi thing. It's really, really interesting. Anyway, so there's somebody that got appointed in the administration that's going to go through and try to organize and make it easier. Because I tried to do Social Security disability, and I have a lot of things, and it happened when I had to have surgery and chemotherapy and all that. And some of the things that are your disability keep you from getting that information to them. Anyway, I did find out there's a form they could have just sent me that allows me to just say, go look at all my medical records. I give you permission. And here are the places that I've went to, because I've lived in the same geographical location for like 30 years. So anyway, but however, there's like a little glitch. We have to move. The collective has to act. So whatever you're feeling inside to do, even if it's not perfect, even if you only can do it this good, still do it. Go forward. It's really important to go forward with what's in your heart, what's calling you to do. And I have some other things too that I was struggling. Should I do this or that? I would like to do both, but I have like children's books and all different types of, some kind of finished, mostly finished, but not put into digital form. Not illustrated, because I can draw, but not good and not enough to say, okay, this dog here is going to look like the different dog here, and the action scenes and all that. So whatever's in your heart, just feel like, the law of attraction says act on that, right? Act what's in your heart. You can wish about it all the time, but nothing's going to happen unless you act, and act in whatever ability you can. I have these cringy videos out, but I'm acting. And I think it was really fortuitous that yesterday I talked about the timeline shift, and I put in dates and the pings that I have, and then that and the new updated showed that timeline shift or something shifting, and just like a black little line, like we've seen in the earlier chart. So there's that. So the challenges of this 22, this new timeline, is it can lead to feelings of being overwhelmed by the scale of one's ambition. So you'll get all these ideas, wanting it all to be perfect, and we have to realize that that can cause frustration, imposter syndrome. Like I just love it just cracked me up when I'm like, I'm blind and using Baba Vanga, but then I thought I'm nothing near Baba Vanga's capabilities, but I have the same kind of drives. Like I've had drives to do Nostradamus's water scrying. And I notice too, whenever I'm at a fire, I take pictures of the fire and see things in the fire, and I show people, and it's like, so that's a form of scrying also. And I didn't realize that. I'm like, oh, okay. But those are things that are just in my intuitive like consciousness to want to do. So it'd be a good experiment to see, to bring those into the collective also. So, and I do paint too, so that's another way I want to use my intuition, because the thing about the painting is, and I have some that are clowns, so it's like I paint dots. If clowns come out, that's what the universe is calling me, a clown. I don't know. So one of them was a diva with a cell phone. It's just very interesting, and maybe I can share those in another video, but that would be another thing that we need to develop, is these intuitive gifts like that, right? So writing, scrying, painting. And I liked how Picasso went to the abstract, like when he's seen the cave paintings, because that's what I feel like my dots are. They're like the cave paintings. I don't know what I'm doing, but as I do it, they just come that way, right? That kind of thing. And they're very powerful and very primal, right? So, and it's really fascinating to me to see other people's work. And when I see stuff on TV, I was like, hey, that looks like my mess. There was one, not upload, but the feed that had some really things that reminded me of my own work and the artwork. And I would stop and take pictures of the, because I think some people say, I was like, who's going to buy that? The clown. It's like, yeah, but it's dot clown. I didn't try to make this a clown. Anyway, So one of them is called the Clown Trinity, which is really funny. It's like, me, myself, and I. One of the clowns is flipping somebody off, so it's really funny. Anyway, to me. So, I don't know, and sometimes I think if this is revealing a lot about myself, and some people have that about artists in general, they feel like you are putting your subconscious on the canvas when you're painting like that. So, it's interesting. So, with that, we might have the imposter syndrome. Like, yeah, I'm no Baba Vanga. And perfectionism. I want everything to be perfect. And especially, too, so I have a graphics background, so I want things to look nice. I have a little circle, webcam. Kind of wanted to round the edges of all my windows and OBS. But that's going to take time, and I might get there, I might not. It might not really matter. Probably doesn't matter, but it does look nice. Maybe I can do that more on my website. And that's probably why it's not done. But my website's going to be under, I don't know if I should do it under Woo Report or my personal Terra Kautman. I'll see. I kind of like it under Terra Kautman, and maybe just have a feed into my Woo Report. I would like Woo Report to be other people providing information too, not just me. Anyway, so those challenges, perfectionism, and there's a risk of losing focus or becoming overly frustrated. We need to really take the time for self-care. So maybe I need to, for myself, I intuitively feel I need to do that chakra thing for my voice, and possibly maybe even paint something. Because the way I paint, it's really easy. I just have to get out the paints, and I like to do it with a lot of canvases because then you get, a bigger bang for your creative output. You get more things to work with. So there's that, but I don't really have to do it that way. And I have just done ink things and for people when I need to get them done really quickly. I like to do them in memory of people who've passed and things like that for family. I call them like spirit paintings, spiritual abstracts. So here, risk of losing focus or becoming paralyzed by doubt due to the weight of the responsibilities. The responsibility. So there's a lot of responsibility and just, working through all the issues and stuff I have with technical stuff, with OBS, with my family being here and having to get a video done in a timely fashion for the day, because it's about a daily reading. But really, I can see like how it was with my timeline. Maybe it's more, it is more future. So not necessarily right this second, but tomorrow, next day. So, but like I said before, I would like to synthesize them and do a weekly thing. And I do like the idea of having, overviews of the week. And, AI images. I love work. AI is so funny. Anyway, so it lies the grand vision. Okay, so the 22, and an imbalance, the 22 can be naive, overly trusting, and easily misled by others. And we have seen that so much in the collective, that we get into the law of attraction or things like that. We don't want to see the truth. You are here, like ignoring it's going to make it go away. And I do think there is something to ignoring it, but not like that, totally ignoring and ignoring other people's pain. So, yeah, we have to look at it from the human perspective, too. So, overly trusting and easily misled by others. The key to fulfilling its potential lies in balancing the grand vision with practicality, patience, and discipline. So, I think our clarifying card was really interesting about that. Let's see, I did not get to the, we got to the hidden card, but we didn't get to the clarifying card, which was yesterday's too, I believe. I'd have to go back and find that out. But it is the Four of Cups, the clarifying card, which builds on that aspect of we do have things that we can use, but we have to choose. We can't just be complacent. The Four of Cups indicates apathy or missed opportunities, urging reevaluation. This clarifies the need to embrace the Queen of Cups emotions and the Page of Wands potential, avoiding stagnation amid the jumps changes. So there's a lot of people that do that in investments, and I have a tendency to do that also. So like this spring, I wrote a paper on Bitcoin and its future, as opposed to the Fern Note and the Federal Reserve, and how much it benefits the collective. And so when there's a get together at neighborhood get-togethers, I'd say, "Oh, buy Bitcoin," and there was just so many people confused thinking it was an investment. Oh, I do in the stock market. It's like, no, you don't. It's a whole different thing. So. And you might have a tendency to think, oh, now it's way up. It's not going to go any higher. I don't want to invest at its peak. But it is going to go way higher. It's going to be limited. I don't know when they think it's going to be all mined. 2035. I know the concept is like really hard to grasp, but it's interesting, and it only has value, and it's what we give it anyway. So the Fern Note, do you really think the Federal Reserve and these bankers, the world bankers, are doing anything in our best interest? No. And they're creating money out of thin air. So it would be better, and I think if you look at like JFK's executive order, it's really, the whole numerology in that is really interesting too, which it's like right now it's vaguely in my mind. 10001 or something like that. Wanting to create a competing currency. People were arguing, no, that was for that, for the gold standard, but no, it wasn't. It was for a competing currency. And those are some of the things that got him. And the same thing with Trump wanting to go into crypto to explore what it could do for our nation and have a competing currency. So that's all, going forward, what we have to work with. And it's a whole bunch of people working in those fields. So whatever it is, like, you could educate people on financial matters and Bitcoin, these alternate parallel ways of living and doing. I love that, because there are what shifting and where we're going. So the timeline, the indications that it was a timeline was like the master number things. And then yesterday was a 20-1. So the timeline shift happened yesterday on the 21st. I'm sorry, the 24th, which the number was 21 if you added it all up. So, and those were good too. It symbolizes balance and harmony, relationships, independence, leadership, and new beginnings. And it also was reduced the foundational number, and it equals 3, 21, 2 plus 3, which amplifies its core meaning with creativity, optimism, self-expression, and inspiration. This blend creates a unique energy that signifies personal growth, success, and the pursuit of one's higher purpose, often signaling a time of transition and alignment with one's destiny. These are really good indicators that we are moving into a new timeline. Okay? I think so anyway. In the woo. And that Hidden Forces card was the Ten of Swords, and that moved to being known in the collective, processing in our root energy. This is a great sign of the timeline shift, also an awakening. So yeah, I'd like to synthesize those, putting the day by day, week by week kind of things together. And the 2 dates that I said in yesterday's reading about this new timeline, what it's going to be like, the year 1979 and the day of 2/23/25, which in yesterday's reading was interesting that it shown the date was also on a Sunday, and it was 185 days from the date of 2/23/25, with the numerology meaning of 16. And numerology, the number 16 is considered a complex and powerful number with multiple layers of meaning. It's often seen as a karmic number, suggesting that the individual may be facing significant life lessons or debts from past lives that need to be resolved. And we are here I'm an individual, you are an individual, we have families that are individuals, but we are here as a collective with soul ties to each other, and we can work together in the collective, in the ether, the woo, whatever you want to call that, invisible things that where we get psychic information, and there's a whole lot of unseen business going on. So it's a karmic number, life lessons, which can sometimes lead to feelings of anxiety, fear, or profound loneliness. And I've had to process those. I'm like getting more through them, but they still like poke their head up. And I think that many of us right now are experiencing extreme loneliness, and that kind of reflects in the like suicide rates, the drug addiction rates. So these things we need to somehow heal from, and heal our families, heal our communities, and heal the world. And I really think it's possible with the awakening and these new energies and the new golden age where evil will not even be able to survive. So the new earth, and I think we're moving into it. So with that, particularly if it appears in your name, but if 16 is in your name chart, that means you're going to have those feelings amplified probably now. Or maybe you're ones that'd be an interesting study of what it's the birth of these people who, kill themselves at these timeline shifts. So it's kind of interesting. Or they kill their families. That's been happening a lot. They take out a whole karmic unit kind of thing. Okay, so which gives a strong connection to the energy of the number 7, associated with introspection, intuition, inner wisdom, and spiritual insight. This foundation is combined with the energies of its consistent digits, the independence of leadership of 1, and the harmony, balance, and nurturing qualities of 6. As a result, the number 16 resonates with wisdom, independence, self-sufficiency, and deep desire for personal growth and understanding. And as you can see, even in my reading and my desire to come forward with these things, and my desire for everybody to do this, to come forward with their gifts, with what's in their heart to do. And if we all did this, the world would be a totally different place. And I know it seems easier. It's easier said than done. And I realize that 100%. Look at my age, and I'm just now getting around to it. Even though it's been on my heart and my mind for so long. But I do think maybe with these timeline shifts that had happened and these energies coming in, it's really pushing people to either do it or die. Do it or die. And I mean literally, do it or die. Because these things, we need purpose, we need belonging, and all those things. And if we don't have those with something, it's like we just give up and die. So that's really interesting. So it's personal growth and understanding. It's also linked to humanitarianism, compassion, and the ability to bring people together to create harmony. Number 16 is sometimes associated with the tarot card, the Tower, symbolizing sudden change, upheaval, and necessary transformation that forces personal evolution. So that kind of looks like a ping that date of 2/23/25, which is the number 16. So all those things were really interesting. And one other thing I wanted to go through is the woo of the AI. So I said I wanted AI to create me some images of this new timeline. And let's see what we got on AI images. I'm going to turn off my tarot. I'm going to turn on our AI images folder. And here's one of the first ones. I kind of like this one. It shows the poppies, which I like, and I'm just using poppy in one of my web design projects of creating poppymedia.com for like web design projects and things like that. Because I don't know about Social Security, and I still need to make money no matter what my health brings for me. So yeah, just going forward with that. So I thought that one was interesting. You can see it kind of got the date right. The 5 is an S. I gave it cred for that much right. But this is just like, yeah. all cussed. But I think it tried to mean the timeline, like that black thing right there. So I kind of like that. And for copyright purposes, it's using like non-copyright kind of tarot images. Not what I really use. So, okay, see what else I have. Let me open up my folder. And then this is the other one. I really like this one. It's kind of showing these shifts, and almost like these are like timelines of the ages, like the Mayan calendars and stuff. You know, maybe someone drew it all out for us, and we can just shift into different, and as we turn, we shift into different places in the galaxy, different energies. So maybe the timeline shift isn't exactly what we think it is. And like people talk about the Mandela effect, you may see those. And I had a Mandela effect a couple months ago, personal, that was very, very bizarre. I mean, just so tiny, but you know, it's what Philip K. Dick said in one of his interviews. And he gave this example. The people, it's so funny. The people look so stoned in the audience. But anyway, it was in France. And he said this, he didn't call it the Mandela effect, but he said these changes to reality are so slight. It's like you went to your uncle's house, you seen him smile, and he had a silver tooth, but you knew it was gold. But you don't dare bring that up, because then you're like, they'd look at you like a loon, because they would not believe you. It's like you're misremembering. But things like that, you just don't misremember. I am sorry. So anyway, really, really interesting about the Mandela effect. And we can have collective ones, and we can have individual ones. And the one that I had, it was a individual, and I had. It was very slight and strange, but you know, maybe I'll go through it in a different video and talk more about the Mandela effect. That'd be really interesting. I don't know what people are interested in hearing. I have a lot of knowledge about a lot of different things, and want to share different things. And these timelines and how the Mandela effect fits in is really of interest to me. So this one I liked. And to me, like, all these poppies going to make us sleep, you know, like the Wizard of Oz, the drugs. Or we have a lot of drug influence right now. So that was an interesting thing that the AI brought up. So, and then also, let me see if this one poppy. I kind of like the one poppy, like we can choose. You want to be asleep, you can choose to be asleep. But if you don't want to, you know, you got to go down this timeline. And I do like how it shows the Milky Way and the galaxy affecting us. So those energies, like the Schumann Resonance, those things do affect us. So let me see if I have any other images. Oh yeah, so then I said, yeah, create me an old woman, wise, you know, mystical, and it created me just, first it just created her. And then I said, oh, put her staff, mystical, you know, mystery person. I wanted her from a side, maybe with the hood. You couldn't really see her face, because this obviously is not me. I was trying to get it to, you know, create me. But, okay, it just created this. And then it created the next one. Well, that was the best one. So then it created her. Just average grandma in her shirt. But it gave her a staff and made it dark. And then I said, make it druid clothing. So I did put druid in there. So then it created the woman with gave her a headband, and gave her a necklace, and it gave her a belt. Yeah. So this could like be, got something in her back. That's huge. It's holding her up. Anyway, I am looking to wear more cotton clothes, so this might work. But you know, thinner, like even linens, you know, organic linens and cottons. You could make them actually look really good, but they're kind of expensive for the fabric and all that. But these things, these microplastics, go into our skin too. So, and when you put them in the dryer, they actually shoot out microplastics. So they do have some new things on the market to detox from these. There's some kind of like things from like broccoli or something. just tripled in or quadrupled or millionized in strength. So it's interesting. I would like to get some of those for the detox because I feel like microplastics are a big problem. You're saying with colon cancer, it's like almost everyone they look at that they study for microplastics have the microplastics. So that's not good. So microplastics are effing us up. And we need to realize that. So that's why I got my reverse osmosis because, spring water and plastics has microplastics. And the thing about the RO machine, it has a glass pitcher, carafe, whatever you want to call it. But it has a plastic lid. So I'm like, still plastic. And I thought when I purchased it, oh, I can just take the lid off and put the, make the water without the plastic lid. No, you can't do that. You have to put it runs through that. It's like a sensor kind of thing with the lid, so you have to have it on. Anyway, so there's the reading, and it's probably pretty long, and I'm going to have to like piece together where my daughter stopped my reading, and I don't think there's a new Schumann Resonance. It's probably going to be updated tomorrow. We'll see, because it updated, it said it was still the 24th, but it wasn't. It was a whole new chart. So maybe one's going to be 25. I will go look, and then I'll have to append another one onto the end of this, if that is the case, if there's a new one. So hopefully I will see you tomorrow, and we'll get this better and better, smoother and smoother. Post my show notes, so, some of the information that I really don't talk about, that I kind of condense, would still be there. Okay, so it's been nice talking with you, and I hope you subscribe and help me make the channel better, suggesting what you want to hear more of, what was interesting to you. I would really appreciate it. Thank you. See you soon. Okay, so there has been an update to the chart. So we have the timeline jump right here. And my throat is so sore. I need to get something to eat. And I want to finish this. See all the barriers? Look at it like intermittent fasting. Okay, so here we have the shift. We've seen it up to this point, which would have been at about 10 a.m. here. No, I'm sorry. It's like when they updated, it's 5. Really early. And this goes till 10. So here's what we're feeling. This happened at 3. Oh, no, yesterday at 10. I'm sorry. This chart has been crazy after being blacked out for 60 hours. So this would be at about 10 yesterday. So that was like at about 4 a.m. And then this was 4 to 10. So you can see we were just like hit, and it looked like a lot of energy, and then it went down in amplitude, like almost like a shift. What I'd like to do too, since this new update does not really, the tarot reading still applies, but I want to do a clarifying. And I'm going to clarify this reading with a whole new deck that I've never used before. Here, I really like it. It is called the Tattoo Tarot. Really, really pretty. And some of her cards, she shows you like her evolution as an artist, what they started out looking like. I don't know if that's in the deck. I think I put them somewhere else, so I wasn't confused when I'd read for these. Because I have read from these a few times with my friends. I do like them because they just come really positive and just like a reinforcement of kind of what you already know intuitively. We'll see what the Tattoo Tarot by Lana Zellner. Let's see. So here is the card. We have the King of Pentacles. So again, it is going forward on financial, like the what I said in the um, timeline reading was really about good financials going forward. So the King of Pentacles, I'm trying to look in my book. Cheater, cheater. Um, Pentacles, Pentacles, King, King of Pentacles. And here's how the book looks like. It has a full color, really nice and bright color. So the book is really nice. So move forward with confidence. Consider how the king's calm, stable demeanor can help you push through their challenges. Right now, I just had the challenge of my throat is hurting, I'm hungry, I was coughing, had to start over a few times on this. So go get through your challenges. Don't worry that you will make the wrong choices. Have faith in who you are. Have faith in who we are in this new timeline. Because as you can see, we're really struggling with getting it together, and we're now in a calm. But so we're maybe a regroup. But just remember, we have this. We have this. And I do like the idea that this, just a, you know, buying people's things who are independent artists. So she had a GoFundMe to do this deck. She's a really good artist, so I really appreciate this deck. So I would like to leave links in. It's really hard to leave links into the the show notes. So I should start doing that. And props to people who do this. There's a lot of work in creating these videos, and I'm just now realizing that because you think to yourself, oh, they just get up and magically they know everything. I'm sure it gets easier as you do it, but still there's going to be everyday tech challenges. And I'm going to have to move my whole studio because I have to piece it together now because of interruptions. But so that was another barrier. So I'm going to post this and then I'm going to get to eat. And a health diet, I don't know. I followed like some of Cliff High's things because he also went through cancer and he's a cancer survivor. So I want to be a cancer survivor. I don't know what you're going through, but there's a lot of food that I've been eating that, and research shows it's good for diabetes. Kefir is one of the drinks. My neighbor makes it, so there's other things we can do. Cinnamon is also good for like diabetes and sugar, and there's also some warnings people should know that, like chemotherapy can cause diabetes and other problems. So you have to like really weigh those things. I might never get chemo again. I don't think I will. I would get surgery, and some people say you shouldn't even do that. So you have to use your own intuition for that. So anyway, I'll get this out, and it's really been great doing this reading. I found it really, really intriguing and fascinating, and I can't wait to see what the next step in our evolution, our collective growing is. Getting to this new earth and these new light energies. We are just being bombarded by the sun, solar maximum, all these sun issues. I started following the sun issues before I got into the Schumann. Who's the guy? Suspicious Observer is one of the people who you can get into space weather and things like that. So I'll see you tomorrow, and hopefully we just keep going forward. Go with confidence that things are going to be for us. And I appreciate it. Subscribe, comment on what you would like to hear more about, and I look forward to chatting with you.